anything that I try to do, I tend to view in the form of propositional reasoning. So when we talk about the narrative,
Yeah, that's a problem, by the way.
okay,
Yeah, well, you can't reduce the world to a set of propositions.
why not?
Oh, look,
Show me something that is
No
true
problem.
in the world that is not a proposition. That
like an
you cannot
explicit,
put in the
statable proposition.
something that is demonstrably true that I could not put in a proposition.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
Sure you want to go there?
I'm not afraid of anything.
Okay, okay.
If I'm wrong, I want to know I'm wrong. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to. For years, I had this thing going where people would say, "Oh," and this is kind of what we're getting at from a different angle. I would say they would be afraid of what we would lose if we lost religion, and I basically said, "Demonstrate to me any benefit."
Oh, you'd lose art and poetry and drama and narrative and
Why?
story.
Are there no godless artists and poets?
There are artists and poets who think they're godless.
I'm not sure how any of these Christians think they have a point that they're actually right about us only thinking we're godless. The psychology is the essence of the matter, because even if Christianity is true, it's the approval, agreement, acceptance, etc. of the matter that counts, any psychological or emotional positivity toward this religion. Even if God is real, that being isn't interacting with us. Only the religious are. The religious people are the ones causing all of the problems.
So we might have crossed over into a problem area because
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't actually, I can't draw for crap, although I do draw during the show. But one of the individuals who came to the show the other night handed me something that she had spent a great deal of time drawing. She's a wonderful artist. I'm very grateful to get it. And, while I pretend to read minds on stage, I constantly acknowledge that I can't actually read minds. So I can't tell you whether or not she actually believes in a God, but I can tell you that I actually don't believe in a God, and I could write
But you act
poetry.
like you do.
Huh?
But you act like you do. That's why you didn't
I
want to throw
act
poor
like-
Sam off the stage.
No, now you're making a claim. Okay, so I'm telling you I don't believe there's a God, and
Yeah.
your response to that is, I really do, because I have a moral sense. But my moral sense is utterly without any appeal to a God.
I would have asked Jordan to explain that morality and how God is moral. I don't believe giving anyone a choice and then condemning them forever for choosing wrong, especially when I've made said person ignorant. I also don't see how punishing anyone forever for not believing is moral. I would say that I would ask that person why, but I'm not the one behind the situation, and if not doing so, but allowing said person to just exist, live, is immoral, fair enough. If they claim God is moral because he does these things, then morality is what's bad. The question would be, what would solving problems be considered? Sin is clearly a mechanism God is using to determine our fate. The mythological idea that God has a fate for us, makes God the problem, a tyrant.
Explicitly.
Or implicitly.
Maybe.
The
That's not so obvious.
Okay, it's really
See, because
it's
you
easy.
regard Sam Harris as an implicitly valuable entity, because otherwise you'd just throw him off the stage. And then the question is, well, just exactly why is he an implicitly valuable entity?
I don't
What's your
think he's-
metaphysics of that?
I don't think he's implicitly valuable in the sense, in the. I don't think he's implicitly valuable in the sense that the universe has implied that there's something explicit about it. For me, morality is far simpler than some people.
Now wait, you
make it
sounded
out to be.
doubtful about that. You know that, like
Maybe
you've been
you're the
sounding-
mind reader.
You've been, well, maybe.
Because you've already suggested that despite me sitting here and having talked about this for decades, that I don't believe in God, that I actually do because I have a moral code. But my moral code, which I've
Well, I was
talked
more
about,
specific. I said it would.
I don't even understand how morality can even be a part of the religious equation, because God is only concerned with repentance and people turning to him, doing his will and living his way. So Jordan is saying that, quote, choosing sin is moral, as he claims Matt's morality is derived from God.
because you didn't want to throw Sam off the stage. It
Yes,
wasn't
but
just
you
that
didn't.
had a
You didn't
moral
remote.
code.
You didn't even attempt to ask me why I didn't throw Sam off the stage. Instead, you went to why do you think Sam has implicit value? Because it
Okay,
seems
so
that in
okay,
your narrative,
I'm willing to
that's
go
the
there.
only justification.
Well, maybe you were afraid of being punished.
I think you no.
Oh,
I think
okay.
you can have a perfectly acceptable foundation for secular morality, even if it fundamentally centers around selfishness. I'd rather not be thrown off the stage. It's in my best interest to encourage that sort of understanding in others, and therefore I will not throw him off the stage. I would rather not have my stuff stolen, and it's in my best interest to encourage others not to do that, so I will not steal stuff, and I will work with others to ensure that the people who steal stuff are punished. It is a virtually pragmatic moral system.
Why do you think it's not in your best interest to have stuff stolen from you or to be thrown off the stage?
This isn't even an honest question.
it not in my
It's
best
merely
interest?
condescension
No,
under
no,
the
you don't-
delusion
you
that
don't
God
need
is
to think,
superior.
"Oh, that's self-evident." It's like nothing's self-evident to the skeptic. Let's keep that in mind.
Oh.
So, being a skeptic about religion means we're skeptical about everything? It's not even about skepticism anymore, to some of us, because we're both confident and don't want religions to be true. I know Matt would tell God to fuck off, just as I would, so skepticism doesn't even apply here. If Matt was skeptical, wouldn't proving whatever Jordan is trying to claim be the first step here? I guess Jordan is trying to challenge Matt about theft being an infliction, which is fucked up. I mean, he approves of theft? An attempt to defend Christianity makes this even worse. Also, what do axioms have to do with anything?
Well, so,
Because if we're going to get skeptical
Fucking
here, we
mouse.
might as well go
There.
a bit more than that. Because
it's
he
not,
says we should
so
minimize their suffering.
He's not maximize, minimize in this sense of simple consequentialism. Let me do this.
Okay.
We're physical beings in a physical universe, and the laws that dictate how things work in the universe, they are the ultimate arbiters of what is or isn't in our best interest, whether we know it or not. So, for example, so far as I can tell,
Then what?
Really, Matt? I can't agree with you on that one. In our best interests? Whether we know it or not? The universe? The universe is just automatic. It's just what happens.
Why do you need free will?
I don't think
Why
we
do you
need
believe
free
in
will.
it then?
I-
Why do you attribute agency to things if the laws of the
Can I
universe can
get
He
to
didn't.
that one point?
well, yeah, but there was a contradiction
Because
that was
free will
confusing me.
isn't free
No
will isn't relevant to
contradiction.
this.
You won't let him speak.
It is if
Did Matt really just say natural cosmos have laws for our well-being? Yeah, I can't agree with him on that. The universe is just the way it is. Anyway, Matt didn't attribute either free will or agency to this. And I don't know what contradiction Jordan is referring to here. He didn't say anything. The asshole didn't even let Matt finish.
the laws of the universe
guy's
are what are
nuts.
dictating what's good for us.
No, because if you chop off my head, that is clearly not good for me. And it doesn't matter whether it was an act of free will or if it was my lawnmower.
It's clearly not good for you because you think you're valuable and worth preserving.
Yes.
Okay, that's the issue. Why do you think you're valuable and worth preserving?
Because I am the descendants of people who thought
Ask
they were
God the
valuable
same
and worth
question, jackass.
preserving, and the ones who didn't think that have killed themselves. But this is not a statement about. This is not a statement about intrinsic value.
I don't know. Yes, I think
No,
it is.
it's-
Okay, but I think it is.
Okay. The reason that we talk about this in terms of well-being is because irrespective of whether or not I care about well-being, there are facts about well-being.
Sure, let's hear him, man. Line those suckers up.
If you chop off my head, it's in contradiction to my well-being. I mean, but the point
No,
of-
I wasn't willing to grant that, actually.
Okay.
I'm saying that's a metaphysical presupposition. You're just saying I have to accept that. It's
No.
like-
No. Was Matt ever talking about metaphysics? Jordan didn't prove metaphysics exists, so his position is baseless.
I'm not telling you at all what to accept.
Sure you are. You're saying that your death would be
I'm
wrong.
trying to explain what my position is.
Okay.
Which you keep on
you said
interrupting
that
him
would
when
be
he's
in
doing.
accordance with your well-being. Okay, that's a metaphysical statement or philosophical statement. It's not an obvious fact.
The
That's
chop.
not-
I would have asked Jordan what a beheading means to a person if he doubts well-being. But of course, everyone insists on debate instead of breaking their words down and psychologically questioning them.
Cutting
a
off somebody's
fact.
head is contrary to their well-being.
Depends on how you define well-being.
Sure.
Yeah, but it...
Okay, this is the main reason I wanted to make this video. The question here is, does Jordan know what well-being is, or does he need Matt's understanding of it? If Jordan is ignorant here, then he's philosophically questioning Matt from nothing, which is insanity. If he's missing Matt's understanding, then he should have asked him at the start. This is why definitions are the spine of communication.
But if you
matters.
define well-being as this glass of water, we're no longer talking about the same thing.
Well, you can define well-being. That's fine. That's what I'm waiting for.
This is what I'm.
You're waiting for him, yet you keep cutting him off, you fucking dickhead.
You can't do it. You can't define well-being. It's
Well, then
very,
why
very
should I
difficult.
try?
You won't let him talk. Okay, so Jordan is missing Matt's definition. He's still at error here, though, because getting Matt's definition was his responsibility to get before he even brought the well-being up. Jordan just badgered Matt based on that void, only to finally ask him. He won't let him speak.
I certainly can't do it if you keep telling me I can't do it.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'll back off. There's a...
Now let him fucking finish.
I'm all ears.
So, the primary objection to mine and Sam's position that keeps coming back is, why should anybody care about well-being? And we both will acknowledge that this is, in fact, a subjective preference. There are people who are going to care about well-being, there are people who aren't. The second objection is that well-being, no, I'm saying you could start with death is preferable to life, but you don't get very far that way because those
Yeah, you
people-
do. You stop suffering. You just die.
Yes.
Jordan just interrupted again. He's also wrong because there's no experiencing relief if you're dead. Death is the opposite of well-being. If well-being is another term for health, which it is. To close, Red Cow Arcade has uploaded a video recently about internet arguing, and Frankie talked about nominalism, which is evading the topic by arguing about the word's definition, and that's insanity. Here's the excerpt of that.
Nominalism. Do you know what this is? This is when you try to turn the argument, the whole argument, into about the definition of the words being spoken.
Oh, yes.
And distract from the entire thing. You're like, well, what's your definition? You just start trading definitions, and
Maybe words don't mean anything.
so it's retreating to this like, oh, let's go to this kind of nihilistic abstract place